Welcome back. If you just joined us, we've been looking at Nigeria's education sector and the roadmap of the federal government in changing the fortunes of the education sector in Nigeria. And our guest on this episode of Question Time is the Education Minister, Malam Adamu. Adamu, don't go away. Let's come to the issue of teachers' qualifications now. We have another disturbing and scary statistics that 44% of Nigerian teachers lack the basic NCE qualifications. So what are you doing in this regard?
You know, even before we came in the teacher development program of the federal government, which this government has continued. And then there is the 500,000 teachers which I told you the president has promised will be recruited, trained, and deployed. And then there is the scholarship the president has given for whoever is pursuing a STEM subject. STEM means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So whoever is pursuing anything among these four will get automatic scholarship.
But for the teachers?
For the teachers.
So when are you implementing that?
It has been implemented already.
So all federal teachers?
All federal teachers, and also our own, what we intend also to do is we would like to make education very attractive so that only the best brains will go there. We will propose to government the giving of automatic scholarship to whoever chooses education. And then we'll also make a case so that whoever chooses teaching as his profession will have an enhanced salary, so that we will attract the best of the youth to education instead of, at the moment, unfortunately, education is treated by people as the place of last resort. When you try all the other places and you can't get in, you get to education. We are going to change that so that only the best will be there.
Now, this is one question that has been one of the oldest questions in education institution in Nigeria, and that's the issue of teacher salary. What are you doing about this?
Teachers' welfare, we are now even thinking of...
Are you thinking of increasing their salaries?
Certainly, this is what I've just said. I'm thinking of the welfare of students who are going to be teachers. So it is all the same. I'm thinking of their future and their motivation. You can't, even if you get the best people into the profession, unless you motivate them. And then we intend also, to make the Teachers Registration Council active. We hope by the end of our tenure, nobody will stand in front of students to teach unless he is certified as a teacher. And that is what we intend to do.
So what do you mean by certification of teachers? So that those who have gone, those who have pursued a degree in education, what about those who have pursued other disciplines? Like, for instance, we have someone, a bachelor degree in English and a bachelor's degree in English education.
Yes.
So are you going to disqualify that?
No, we will not disqualify.
One that has just a Bachelor of Arts in English?
No, we will not disqualify him, but we will ask him to be inducted by the Teachers Registration Council. And they are putting in place the mechanism to do this. Because it is just not simply the subject matter that you need to know. You have to have the ability to impart it to students. And that is what education is all about.
So the big question now, the controversy trailing the cancellation of the post-UTME JAMB examination. So what's the rationale behind this?
The rationale, behind it is JAMB was set up to do exactly that, to do the test that will determine the admission. And I'm not defending JAMB. I think there are so many problems. What we need to do is not to create another examination, but to make JAMB sit up. And that is just the reason behind it.
Now, when we look at the JAMB as an institution, there have been lots of complaints from candidates seeking admission. Some of them have complained about them being offered a different course entirely from the one they registered during their entry forms.
I think that is something that probably is a thing of the past. A lot of restructuring is going on now in JAMB. And I'm sure both the test that they administer and the result that they give on which universities will determine the admission of students will be different from now on.
How do you see the opinions of those calling for a compulsory, free 12-year education system?
The ministry hasn't taken a position yet, but my own position is, as I said earlier, if we are able to curtail or eliminate corruption, we'll be able to give the entire education spectrum from early childhood until the tertiary. We'll be able to give it free, and I think it is an entitlement that Nigerians should expect of their government. But at the moment, we have to eliminate corruption first and then raise the funding from what is available. I think I support this. At the moment, the position is that there is 9-year compulsory education.
Okay, 9 years.
Yes. So there is no problem adding 3 years as far as I'm concerned. What we should try to do is people should support government to see to the elimination of corruption, to see to the elimination of other leakages, so that the resources we have can be harnessed for the good of this nation. And I believe education is the most important area that we need to fund.
Let's look at curbing perhaps one big ugly monster in the education sector, and that's corruption, ranging from examination malpractice, financial inducements of lecturers, even lecturers' harassment of students. What are you doing to restore sanity back to our education institutions?
Certainly, we have crisis of discipline on our campuses. We have the question of exam malpractices, sexual harassment, cultism, and even corruption. You know, the first 2 weeks after resuming here as Minister of Education, the first thing I did was to call for the files of petitions. And we looked at them and we set up panels that went to the institutions to try to verify whether these are true. And then a committee sat down and the white paper is already out. And before I came here, there has been the visitation panel. And right now, we are already constituting panels that will go to the universities to do visitation. So we are quite aware of what is going on in the campuses, and we are doing everything to arrest the situation.
Before we wind down this conversation now, we have a very disturbing trend of Nigerian universities going abroad in thousands to search to obtain a university degree outside the country. And the implication of this is very, very obvious, from loss of foreign exchange to brain drain. And what are you doing to curb this trend?
That's what we've been talking about. This education for change is to create a situation that Nigeria will become an education destination for even foreigners. So that if it is at that position, then Nigerians will not need to live here to go to even neighboring countries.
Do you have a timeline for this?
The timeline is, let's say, probably next year. Because now we have just launched our own education plan. You need to give it time to at least start sowing. I hope we'll be able to start seeing the result within there. Certainly not beyond 2 years.
So you are assuring Nigerians now that before the end of 2017, that we're going to have a university in Nigeria, or universities in Nigeria, that would be a major destination for people all around the world to obtain a degree that is worthy, that one will be proud of.
I'm assuring them that they will begin to see change, certainly.
Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, thank you for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome, Benga. Thanks.
And that's it on this episode of Question Time. You may also send us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Join us next week on another exciting episode of the show on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashuru. Goodbye.